Hello everyone, so in this module we'll be going over a brief overview of the brain and cerebellum and some of their associated structures and functions. So starting off, we are looking at a lateral view of the brain. Specifically, this is the patient's left hemisphere, and for orienting we have anterior over here, posterior over here, superior up here, and inferior right here. So the most anterior structure that we see first is the frontal lobe, located right about here and in red in this picture. And the frontal lobe is responsible for planning, abstract thinking, and personality. And the frontal lobe contains the primary motor cortex, which is located in the precentral gyrus, which is seen right here in this picture and located right about here on the scan. Now moving posteriorly, we have the parietal lobe located right about here and in blue in this picture. And the parietal lobe is responsible for sensation, as it contains the primary somatosensory cortex, which is located in the postcentral gyrus, and that's seen over here in the picture and right about here in the scan. And the pre and post central gyri are separated by the central sulcus, which is seen right about here on the scan and over here in the picture. Now, most posteriorly, we have the occipital lobe located right over here and over here in green in the picture, and the occipital lobe is responsible for vision. Now moving inferiorly, we have the temporal lobe located right here and in yellow in this picture, and the temporal lobe is responsible for memory formation and hearing. And the temporal lobe is separated from the other lobes of the brain by the lateral sulcus, which is right about here and located over here in this picture. Now moving posteriorly and inferiorly, we have the cerebellum right here, and the cerebellum is responsible for motor coordination. And fun fact, cerebellum means little brain. So now we can adjust the scan. Move this arrow over here. And once again, adjust the size. Change the contrast a bit. Perfect. So we are looking at a mid-sagittal section of the brain now, and we have anterior over here and posterior over here, superior right here, and inferior over here. So once again, we can see the frontal lobe located right over here and located here in this picture. We can see the parietal lobe right about here and located here in this picture. And finally, we can see the occipital lobe posteriorly over here and over here in this picture. So an interesting structure we can see in the mid-sagittal section is the corpus callosum, located right about here, over here, and here in this picture. And the corpus callosum is responsible for connecting the two hemispheres of the brain. Now, inferiorly, we have the thalamus right over here and over here in this picture, and the thalamus is responsible for relaying motor and sensory signals. Then finally, within the cerebellum, we have this structure called the arbor vitae over here, this tree-like structure, and we can see it here within the picture. And arbor vitae means tree of life, so it's very appropriately named as it looks like a tree. So adjusting this arrow back. This concludes our brief overview of the brain and cerebellum and some of their associated structures and functions. I hope you found this module helpful.